We'll find out in this week's Driven 100. We're testing the Mondeo against two of its hottest diesel rivals, the new Passat and the latest Laguna. Can they really give their petrol cousins a run for their money?
Plus, a TV exclusive from our intrepid spies, the new Hyundai Coupe.
And a new dawn, Toyota's revolutionary Prius.
Want to save £3 on a car? Well, Driven's introducing a brand new feature, our very own bargain price finder, where each week we'll be touring the country finding the best deals for you. This week we got £2 off a Citroen and £3 off a Mitsubishi. Details are coming up in part 2, but first, can the new Mondeo keep its crown?
In the UK, we've been turning our noses up at diesels for years. They might be economical, but they're seen as noisy, dirty and lousy performers. Can these new executive cars from Ford, Renault and Volkswagen finally make diesels desirable?
Yes, if the manufacturer's claims are anything to go by. They say these new turbo diesels are just as good as their petrol counterparts, if not better.
Way! Easy, Tiger. Before we put these claims to the test, let's meet this week's contenders.
Pretty smart car, this new Ford Mondeo. In fact, last year it was our car of the series. We reckon it was great to drive and great to be in. But I wonder, how will things change with a turbo diesel up front? Ford diesels have been a bit duff in the past, and they're promising better things on the horizon. But for now, we've got a 2-litre, 115 brake horsepower motor. It's not as much poke as the other two, but there is a higher powered version winging its way in the showrooms in 6 months' time.
Looks familiar? Well, the all-new Mondeo wants to be just like this, the new Passat. Chunky, quality, you can thump. Well, it's not a new Passat, it's a thorough reworking of the old one, which was pretty good in the first place. Now, when you're talking Passat diesel, it has a higher than normal pressure injection system, which to you and me means better fuel economy and emissions. Volkswagen love diesels. They've even got a luxury V6 in the range, which is nice.
Le Français adore le gasoil. That's diesel to me and you, mate, and this is the brand new Laguna, launched later this month with a V6 petrol engine or this turbo diesel model, which uses the latest diesel injection technology. It's called Common Rail for those of you in the know. For better performance, it comes with a 6-speed gearbox, and Renault are trying to out-tech Ford using this credit card style ignition. But in the UK it's come a bit pointless, because in France, as you approach the car with it in your pocket, the doors pop open. But in the UK, our insurance companies thought that was a bad idea, and they've knocked it on the head.
Everywhere in Europe, diesel sales are booming, and there's no sign of it stopping, except in the UK, where they've been falling. Government fuel taxation means ours is the only major European market where diesel is more expensive than unleaded petrol.
But all three of our Driven 100 turbo diesels will do at least 10 miles per gallon more than their petrol equivalent, which is why fleet managers love them and buy them in droves. But before you take the plunge and buy a diesel, there's a few things you ought to know.
Diesel engines run at higher pressures than petrol ones. That's why they're louder, a fact which turns a lot of people off buying diesels. However, our trio use the latest diesel technology, which is supposed to make them quieter. Let's see how they compare with each other and with a similar petrol car.
We've left our three contenders overnight at Ricardo's noise test centre, along with a petrol Volvo. Now we're going to measure peak decibels at cold startup, a wake up the neighbours test. First, to establish our benchmark, the petrol Volvo, 61 decibels. Now the Mondeo. It peaks at 67 decibels. Next, the Passat. Quieter at 63 decibels. And finally, the Laguna. The quietest at 62 decibels. That's just one measly decibel more than a petrol Volvo.
We also tested the cars a few minutes later at cold idle, with similar results. Again, the Laguna was quietest of the diesels. The Mondeo and Passat registered the same noise levels on this test.
So the Renault Laguna is the hush puppy of the three. The Passat comes in second and the rowdy cold start Mondeo comes third. But they all did surprisingly well against the petrol car. Noisy diesels a thing of the past? Seems that way.
Another gripe people have with diesels is the fumes. But on most emissions, diesels are actually cleaner than their petrol equivalents. And because diesels use less fuel, it follows that they chuck out less carbon dioxide. So, the fact is, we can't diss the diesel on noise or fumes anymore. That only leaves performance, and we'll be tackling that later in the Driven 100.
All these essential diesel facts, plus the inside story on Peugeot's brand new 307 family hatchback, it's all at our website at 4car.co.uk. Now, can Penny see the wood for the trees in the new Toyota Prius?
Somewhere in this suitably natural environment is the future of green motoring. If only we could find it. Hold that camera still. Ah, here we are. The Toyota Prius, the world's first hybrid car. A car that runs on both electricity and petrol. How does it do it? The secret is in its revolutionary intelligent engine. The Prius has a 1.5-litre petrol engine and an electric motor, and its computer is so clever it knows which one to use and when to give you the best possible fuel economy and emissions. It was launched in Japan 4 years ago, and finally it's on sale here with a new interior, European suspension and a smaller battery, making space for a bigger boot. All this and cutting-edge technology comes at a price though. At £16,495, it's in the pricey family saloon market, up against the likes of our 3 Driven 100 cars. It's so deadly quiet in here. All you'd be able to hear is the radio or the fan or the wipers going. The one thing that's going to really surprise people when they start to understand this car is that it is just like a normal car. You don't have any switches inside to choose between electric or petrol. The car will automatically select the most efficient way to use the car's power. It may have an electric motor, but the Prius has no plug. The battery, which is designed to last the lifetime of the car, is automatically topped up by the petrol engine. It's not the fastest car you're ever going to get in 0 to 60 in about 13.4 seconds, so it's no rocket ship. Toyota have had to go trying something a little bit different inside. The shape and style of the dashboard is new and different, and that's always refreshing to see. They've moved the gear stick from the floor up onto the dash, which frees up a lot of floor space, which again increases the sort of feeling of space inside the car. The steering is very nice and light, and they put disc brakes on the back, so the brakes are incredibly sensitive. Is it really a green machine? On paper, the emissions and economy stack up. 61 miles per gallon around town and very low CO2 emissions. It meets the 2005 EU emissions laws already. And it's a proper car. It's got 4 doors, 5 seats and a decent-sized boot, unlike the 2+ handbag Honda Insight. Its technology is jaw-dropping, but its most surprising feature is its modesty. In an industry that promises the world but so rarely delivers, here is a car that delivers more than it promises. So should you buy one? It comes as well equipped as a Ford Focus Ghia, and it will save you serious money on fuel. If style, performance and image are your priorities, then I'm not sure that this is the car you should be looking at. But if cost-cutting and planet-saving are what you're interested in, then I think this is the car for you.
Still almost a year away from these shores, here's a sneak preview of the next generation Hyundai Coupe, snapped during hot weather testing in Arizona's sizzling Death Valley. Despite the black tape camouflage, you can see the old car's curvy creases along its sides have gone. The high-sided look has a whiff of Audi TT about it, and it's bigger too, around Toyota Celica size. Hyundai has confirmed there'll be a 1.6 and 2-litre version, and for the first time a more powerful 2.7 V6, and there'll be a 6-speed gearbox. But our sneaky peek at the interior also showed a semi-automatic with sequential gear change, just like a Porsche. Hyundai's known for keen pricing, so expect the new coupe to give the Toyota Celica a run for its money. The current coupe starts at £14,000, a good £3,000 less than a Toyota.
After the break, I'm going to save you a packet in our new bargain price finder. And our Driven 100 diesels deal with a juggernaut.